Good morning, everybody. It is a cloudy, gloomy Friday, but it's okay because the sun is shining wherever you are because you are the sunshine. And so I am excited about today's topic. We're talking about framework and building. This is a great topic because no building has ever been built without the framework going up first. Now, I'm nerdy. I admit it. I am a former architectural engineering student. I love building. I love seeing a plan, a building come to fruition. Why do I love it so much? Because there is nothing I don't care if it's a flat, I don't care if it's a skyscraper, I don't care if it's a ranch style house or ranch style one level building. One thing is for sure, that there's always got to be a framework. Now, that framework is always going to start with a blueprint because you got to know what it is that you're trying to build before you even start the foundation work. So your blueprint is always going to be your big picture of what it looks like. Now, I've already given full disclaimer that I'm a nerd. I love looking at blueprints. When I was in high school, I went to a technical high school that started my love of looking at blueprints and drafting plans and all of those other things because I went to a technical high school and we were required to take 4 years of drafting. And from that grew my love for engineering. Why is that important in the grand scheme of life? Because everything that we do requires a plan. You have to be able to see the big picture before you start working on the details. Now, in a blueprint, you will see the lines, you'll see every room, you'll see everything that will go into making that building. You'll see the renderings of it, which is just like a scale model of what the final project is going to look like. But why is that important? You don't know where you're going, or you don't know how to get to somewhere until you know where you're going. And that's the same with our life and with our businesses. So let's talk a little bit about how sturdy your framework is. The sturdiness of your framework begins with how solid your plan is. If you say, I'm going to bake a cake, for those that are bakers, for those that are cooks, you have to know what all of the ingredients are that goes into a cake before you start baking. And you can't wait until you start mixing eggs together and folding it to say, oh my goodness, I don't have any extract, which is the flavoring that goes in. Oh my goodness, I needed 6 eggs and I only have 3. Because guess what? You won't have a cake. You'll have a mess. And the same is so with your framework. How sturdy is your framework? How sturdy is your framework? So, a successful life is derived from completing or creating a framework that starts with a clear vision of where you want to be in the future. Now, my husband and I was just on a call, and he admittedly, he's not the 1-3-5 year goal setter. He's the 365-day goal setter. I'm the person that want to see what it's going to look like 10 years down the road. So I still have my 1-year plan, my 3-year plan, my 5-year plan, and my 10-year plan. But the point is, just because he only sees the next 365 days and I can envision what things I want to look like 10 years from now, don't mean that our frameworks are not solid. They're just different. And every building or everything that you try to build don't have to look the same. You might go into a community of new developments whereby all of the houses look alike. They're all cookie cutter houses, easy peasy, right? Because they all have the same blueprint. Or you can go into a very eclectic estate where all of the houses are different. About 19 years ago, we moved into a relatively new development, and our house was one of the model houses. And we could point out where the model houses were because they were all right together. There were 4 model houses that people could choose from in this new development, and they were all very different. And that was an excitement to me because guess what? I didn't want to come home at night and pull into the wrong driveway because all of the houses look the same. My point being is that when you're creating a framework for your life, you have to provide the structure that your framework is going to look like. So it starts with a blueprint. Then it starts with the foundation. If the foundation of the building is not solid, even if it's a slab house or building, even if it's one with an unfinished basement, you got to have that solid foundation. So look, what does your framework look like? How sturdy is it? So our framework helps us to prioritize our thoughts or organize our thoughts and prioritize our tasks and create the plan to achieve the desired results. If I start out just building without a plan, I won't have what I envision. So in my own personal life, I use frameworks to plan out my day. Most people that know me and they say, hey, what are you doing on X day? I have this thing, which is my calendar that's in my phone. But then I also have this thing. Oh, you can't really see it, but it's a paper planner. Because not only do I need to see what I'm doing on the day, I need to see what I'm doing for the month. So I plan things out on my calendar, on my electronic calendar, which is always with me, and my paper calendar, which I keep in front of me on my desk. Once a week, I sit down on Monday mornings and I sync my calendars to make sure that I wasn't out and I put something on this calendar that I didn't see on this calendar, because that's how you overbook. You mess up the framework. So you have to have a plan on how to get things done. So having a plan, a framework in life is incredibly important in making sure that you get the most out of every month by living life to the fullest. If you want to plan a vacation, you don't just say, oh, I'm going to the Bahamas. You got to have a plan to get there. Even down to the minute details of how many bags am I allowed to take on the plane? How am I going to get to the airport? How am I going to get from the airport to my lodging? What excursions am I going to take? Am I just going to hang out on the beach, or am I going to go water skiing? You got to have those details. Living life to the fullest. These are some of the things that you have to take into consideration. Planning the framework for your family. What is family life going to look like? Now, this year, my graduating class, last year we had our 41st or 40th, 40-ish, we called it, class reunion. And this year we're celebrating our 60 years of life. And most of my classmates, a lot of my classmates are going to Cabo San Lucas for a 60th birthday getaway. Well, this year my family is having a huge family reunion in Dallas. Now, at this point, I'm not able to do both because my schedule doesn't allow me to do both. So what was the decision I made? I made the decision that because I spent a whole weekend with them last year, that this year I want to spend with my extended family and do all of the things that we're planning to do in Dallas, Texas. Framework, planning. Okay. So 5 areas of framework importance. And I'm taking these directly from my newsletter on framework. If you don't yet subscribe to my newsletter, go to www.rubyepowell.com and just hit subscribe now. You'll get a copy of my weekly newsletter. I don't spam your mailbox. I don't send a lot of junk email. If you're getting junk email that's trying to sell you something under my email, it's not from me. Newsletters is basically all I send. Now, every once in a while, I will send you an invite to something because I got a lot going on. Yeah, Yvette, I'm going to miss it too. We got to do something next year because I'm there for sure, for sure. So thank you. I'm going to miss being in Cabo. 5 areas of framework importance. Communication. Establishing a clear communication channel in both your business and your personal life is essential for success. This includes verbal, written, and digital communication. If you're not that great with communication skills, guess what? That's a learned art. None of us were born with excellent communication skills. We learned it through our language arts classes, our English, and all of those other things. And so if that's something that you struggle with, not knowing how to write the plan, not knowing how to write the vision, let me know. Schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me, and I can help you to determine how we can work together to set that plan. The second framework that's important is organization. It's so important that you're organized because it helps to increase your efficiency and your productivity. I talked in one of my earlier lives about how I always have to make sure that my desk is organized before I leave my workspace for the day. I cannot come into my workspace, whether it's in my office in Lansing, whether it's in 2 of my workspaces in my home. I can't walk in there and figure out what I'm doing that day because I have stuff all over the place. I have to set my plan in motion the day before. That's organization. Strategic planning is the third one. It's so important to help in helping you set your goals. How do you know where you're going, or how do you know how to get to where you're going if you don't know where you're going? The fourth one is problem solving. Having critical thinking skills, being able to point out possible solutions wherever there's a problem. I was talking to a client a couple of days ago, and they have a lot of things going on. They run a couple of businesses, and they just started a new career. And she said, I hate this. And I said, oh, but you've only been doing it about a year. I hate it. I don't want to do it anymore. Now, mind you, she's a young girl. She's in her 20s, and she's working on her 3rd career. And so I said to her, okay, let's unpack this, because there's a reason why you're starting careers that you absolutely love at the very beginning. But once you get trained and start working those things, you all of a sudden hate them. So there's some problem solving that we need to do. We got to unpeel some layers so that we can go even further. So you've got to have the ability to troubleshoot and solve problems quickly in order to get to the solution to where you're going. Not a lot of people even recognize that they're having problems until it becomes a big mountain, or until it becomes a big earthquake. So problem solving, critical thinking is very important. And then leadership. Nobody wants to see themselves. A lot of people don't want to see themselves as a leader. They're saying, oh no, I'm not a leader. I'm this, or I'm that, I'm the other. I'm not a leader. Guess what? Everybody have leadership skills. Everybody have leadership skills, whether it's in home, whether it's at work, whether it's in business. And so those are just some of the tips on how to build a solid framework. We're going to talk on the next live, which ironically is going to be next. No, it's not going to be next week. Week after next, about how to build on this framework that we started. And so until we meet again, Dr. Ruby E. Powell, www.rubyepowell.com. Schedule your free consultation so that we can help you to determine how to get that framework started. Love and blessings to you until we meet again.